All right, everybody. So good to have you. First Friday is November 1st. So here we are. It's November. And welcome, everybody. And if you're new, a huge welcome to you. And if you're old, a huge welcome for you. That means just you're experienced. You've been here before. It might mean that you're old too. Maybe that's what we're going to do the work on today. Who knows? Something about the body, though, right? Because it seems like that's what happens when pain, sickness, death, and this topic. I thought it would be nice to actually, you know, circle in on a topic. We're doing that anyway with a group that's in a retreat. Every single day we've been meeting this week online, inquiring into pain, sickness, and death and the thoughts that appear. But this is such a great time of year. Today is November 1st, and Dia de los Muertos is a celebration from Mexico, at a time when there's many parts of the world have and traditions and countries, communities have traditions around remembering people who have died, or the movement into winter in the northern hemisphere, at least. So I thought that would be so wonderful to sit with that today and inquire. So I will open here with a quote from Byron Katie, and this is from her book, A Mind at Home with Itself. The nature of the questioned mind is kindness, and it has absolutely no quarrel with itself. When something appears that is unlike its nature, a negative concept, any thought of defense or rejection or resistance, mind splits away from its enlightened self. It has become identified as something unlike itself, and it keeps straining to be what it isn't, what it can never be. The moment it's identified as something other than itself, it gets stuck as a thing, a body, an I. When it understands its true nature, it becomes an unceasing flow of delight. It watches as it appears to create something, but it never becomes identified as that something. It realizes that there is nothing to have or be. Eventually, it realizes that it is the beginning and the end, that it was never born and can never die. The great spiritual texts describe the what it means to be free. The work is the how. It gives you a direct entrance into the awakened mind. Some people try to spend years figuring out what's the matter with them. When you come to the work, you don't have to figure it out. And you could put in, what's the matter with life? You already know what's the matter with you. You're believing your stressful thoughts. You don't even have to know which thoughts. You just pick the first one that occurs, and that's what's the matter with you. And when you question your thoughts, the thing that was the matter with you begins to show up as nothing. So, just to say, self-inquiry, it has been a foundational, kind of pillar of so many traditions, and all the way back to Socrates, right? But just many, many traditions. Is what I'm thinking the truth? It's really what we're doing. So on this topic, noticing you have a body. It's where it looks like the pain shows up, where sickness shows up, aging and dying. And those things they all happen. Looks like they happen in reality. It sure looks like that to me. And what can we do with the thinking that gets set off, that feels so identified or terrified, upset about whatever it is that's going on with this body? So if you just notice thoughts that come to mind with this prompt, I am troubled with the body, sickness, pain, aging, death, because, troubled with the body because, and just see what comes after in your own mind. Very simple. I have this condition. Just see what troubles you about that. What troubles you about having the condition called a body? Such a funny question, isn't it? It's like the question, what's disturbing or what's wrong or what's bothering me about having this body that's impermanent, temporary, or hurts? Larry.
I was thinking about this morning. You alluded to us being in a pain, sickness, and death uh, session
Yes.
week, and I'm sad because it's going to end. And I realized I hate endings.
Ah.
Troubled because it ends. I get sick, or I'm old. I get old. I am old. Thanks for pointing that out to me, Grace.
Yeah.
And it ends. This is all over with. What what was this all about? Why
Yeah.
did I suffer? What it's over.
Yeah. Yeah. It's over. Okay, it ends. So good. So just noticing, something, it all ends. Something has ended already, perhaps. Youth, it's, yeah, there's things that I used to be able to do that I can't do anymore. But I love the noticing of it will end. Just watching that this ending thing that's coming. I've had lots of experience actually, probably in my life of things ending, relationships being over, other people's death, people coming and going and moving in and out of my experience, all the change that constantly is underway, seems like. But that's a great one to identify. It's just like there's something about ending that inside I don't like. In my thinking, I think, oh, I don't like that. I'm against it. Who else? What else do you notice is troubling about this? And I love that, it seems like such an obvious, well, like if somebody told me, if I'm talking to a friend and they say, uh, my mother is really sick and she's probably going to die, or somebody did die. the natural thing would be, oh, wow. How are you feeling about that? That sounds hard. There's something that's okay that it is. And this is sort of funny to go into this inquiry and say, well, what is that? Like, what, and be curious about something around that. And it doesn't mean it shouldn't be.
Can I share, Grace?
Yes, yes.
I think that there's two things that trouble me. The
Mhm.
first is the inconsistency or unreliability of my physical state. I have pain that comes and goes. I
Mhm.
have gastric issues that are sometimes stable and sometimes they flare. And I have 3 or 4 days where I'm incapacitated. I never really know when those are coming. So it sort of feels like I'm living under a threat.
Yeah.
So I have that's a concern. The other concern is that I have no control over my aging and dying process.
Ah, yeah. Well said. Okay. So, well, isn't that, I love how you describe that. Just, I'm living under a threat because I don't know what's going to happen. Could happen anytime, don't know when, and I have no control. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for just jumping in. It's great. All right. Um, Charlotte.
So I went to with my physical stuff. It's not fun. It's a struggle. It's too much. The no control. But I really like that living under a threat. That one really fits me also.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Cindy.
Hello, everyone. Um, I am troubled with aging because I can't do what I used to be able to do. So I watch people younger just go up and down stairs blithely while I hold on to the handrails. I watch I watch different people do different things that are younger than I am that I used to not give a care about. And I'm just not, I can't, I don't do that. I'm more cautious now,
Mm,
not so carefree.
yes. Such a good one. Here I am, and I notice myself doing it like this, and I remember when I could do it like that over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So in the chat, Karen says, I'm troubled with the body because I'm dependent on it and it's not reliable. Yeah. Here I am dependent on this thing that is unreliable. PJ says, I don't like uncertainty about what is coming. Certain that I will die someday, but how will the rest of my life go? Yeah, it's good. Milda, I'm scared to not take care of the symptoms before it's too late. Too late means it might lead to something serious, terminal illness, death. Yeah, I like the way we say it's serious. And that means you could die. I don't want to die until I will reach that state where where healing myself thing really kicks in. So I'd become a kinder, better person, better mom, more loving. Uh, yeah, I don't know. It's sweet to see there's an image of an ideal version of myself, even just somebody that was where something really kicks in here and I'm kinder and I'm waiting for that. It hasn't happened yet. Yeah. Judy says it stops me from doing what I want, the body. And Ludo says, my fear is about the future, being old and unable to take care of myself. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I'm right in there with you, aware of a body. It's not going to last, doesn't do things like it used to. What will it be like later? And Karen says, I'm upset with this because it's so stressed, hurting, and never happy, the body. So let's look at just here's this thing called a body, and it's got a shelf life. It's a temporary amount of time in the world. And I kind of like the wording I think Robin had. I'm living under a threat. I have no control. Just noticing that anticipation of a future moment that's coming. So death is coming. Death is coming. All right, let's do the work on that. Let's just look as a meditation. We all know about death. We all know what it is. We've all had people that we know who've died. But this ending thing that happens, it looks permanent. Larry said at the beginning, it ends. So death is coming. Is that true? Can you absolutely know that that's true? Now, here's what's interesting about this question, to me. Well, this might be in the inquiry, but you see this thing called death. Do I know for sure what it is? We all kind of know, or not. I don't know. We're not really sure. We're not really sure what happens. It's just this experience, and then the body's done. Okay, so yes, say some people. Is it true? Yes. Karen says, I don't know. It seems like they say so. We'll come back to, is it true? It's just very interesting. Just the most basic, yeah, it definitely looks like the body's temporary. Death is coming. What happens when you think this thought? Just notice what happens when you think this thought. So notice that anything troubled or whatever is in there. How do you react? Where does the mind travel? Milda says it might be coming, but not now. I mean, interesting to notice. And most likely it's not how I imagine it. And Lori says, no, my form changes, but the elements continue, molecules continue. Love that one. Yeah. Really interesting. Larry.
Well, first of all, I get no comfort out of molecules continuing, so I just have to say that. But I'm thinking about, and just endings. What's so horrible about endings and my reaction to these things? And it's like, well, I'll never have that experience again. But then I thought, well, but that's true of everything.
Everything.
My, when I'm
Yeah.
done talking, I'll never have this experience again.
Yeah.
But it's like, then I wrote, well, it's like happy times are over or something. Because I don't hate endings. I
Hmm.
hate, I hate, I hate the ending of happy times.
Hmm.
But if I'm in pain, thank God that's over with, you know.
Good to notice.
So
Yeah.
what? But can't quite put my finger on it. There's something really sad and horrific about endings and death specifically.
Hmm. Well, you said, ending happy times and just seeing all of this life that's all been different every single moment. Like you said, there's nothing that ever gets repeated exactly. I mean, nothing, even if it looks like your morning's the same or you're doing this thing, it's just a little bit different. There's different stuff happening all the time. Yeah. Anyway, just looking at the ending of that life that might have been, it's full of something that you like about it. Charlotte.
So I went more to when I think death is coming, of what I'm missing out on right now. Like, but I want to have a good life before I die. It's like, it seems like dying is okay, at least in this moment,
Mhm.
but I want to be happy now, and I want to do things that I'm not able to do. And I don't want to just sit here and try to take care of my body or my emotional states that I'm going through. Like, I want to, I don't know, what I think of as live fully, or comparing to how I used to live before illness, you know? It's like
Yeah.
all of those things of, I want stuff now. I want to make use of this time, and I'm not. I'm taking care of a body and a mind and emotions.
Ah,
Like I'm missing out.
yeah. Yes. Yes. Yeah. So how do I react when I believe death is coming, when I think death is coming? This that I'm living is not it. It's like, oh, this is so much work to take care of this body and do all this stuff, and I'm not getting to do those things that I used to do or that I want to do and I've never done, which I do like seeing too. Those are their thoughts. It's imagination, but just to notice. Allison.
I notice like in moments where maybe like there's a close call driving, something like that. Like sometimes it's just like I will feel just completely frozen and I can't act when I feel like death could be coming in that moment. I'm just like frozen.
Uh,
But then it moves into like reacting and like yelling and feeling like this shouldn't be happening. This is wrong.
wow.
Like
Yeah.
I reject that possibility of getting hit by a car. Like,
Yeah.
that shouldn't happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's such a great moment to be looking at, because the geyser that comes out of anger sometimes about a near miss. It's so incredible how the mind can hold that, like, what if it was just a little bit closer or something like that. And it's got the picture in the head already. Patty.
I think what happens to me is death is the ending of possibilities. And like when I find out someone I know has died, my brain stops thinking there is something beyond it. So it's like and I know like this moment, like what Larry said, this moment is over, but there's a continuity this moment is over, but then this moment comes and then this moment comes. But when there's death, there's not a continuity. It's just a complete ending. There's not a ending and a beginning and ending and a beginning.
Yeah.
In the way I know it.
Yes. Yes.
I understand I can go, oh, now there's spirit and there's spirits with me and all that, but that's non-physical.
Yes. Yeah.
So anyway, I hope I'm making myself clear.
Yeah, you very much so. Yeah, good. Yeah. Mary.
Hi. So my reaction to death is coming as I'm sad about the ending of my story, and I've noticed that lately. It's a kind of nostalgia for the stories of my life. Like my mother's 100, and when she dies, a whole story dies.
Mm.
And I don't know, I was just thinking about a time and place when I lived part of my life early on in my life. And I thought, people don't know about that time and place anymore. And I thought, sad that things go with us. And I mean, I guess the Mary Washburn story, on some level, I value my own story, my family story. And I really see how sometimes artists are capturing that. That's how we keep the value of previous times and stories, is through art a lot of times. And so I'm almost feeling that, like, that's what makes me sad at the moment with this particular inquiry that came up.
Yeah.
But I'm attached to my story. Oh, big surprise.
Yeah. Oh, powerful. Yeah. I mean, it is interesting to think of if somebody didn't write a whole book or do the art or leave something or whatever, only 2 generations ago, I'm not sure who my great great aunts and uncles are. I'm like, I know their name, but I'm like, did they live in that? Where did they move? I don't even know. So it's like it is lost. Sounds, I get it. Milda says, I see the suffering of my family, my son, myself once I die or while I'm dying. Seeing it like God punishing me with terminal illness for not being able to change and become that kinder, better person. Yeah, that's a powerful thing to notice, that like an illness equals punishment of some kind. Because even if you think, oh, I don't believe that, just noticing if that comes in somewhere, just as a thought, it's sometimes permeates a lot of what we hear. And then she goes on to say here, scared of the unknown, basically of all these images in my head, trying to get myself back to the moment and let go such thinking, trying to get rid of the scareful thinking, being afraid of thinking about death in general, living in fear of something bad is going to happen, not being able to enjoy life now, scared of future suffering, scared of dying before I feel proud of who I am. Yeah, I think you described something, just something, oh, I'm not there yet. When I believe death is coming, don't even think about death. Oh my God, terrible. Don't, think about something else. Yeah, it's just scary to even have the word out there. And Karen says, stressed, sad, afraid. All I have to do and be and accomplish before it happens or ends. Same. Yeah, very sweet. And Judy says, I'm feeling little deaths as my pains keep me from doing what I want. And Cher says, I notice the feeling of want and need, and that I want more info. on or and certainty of afterlife, of physical self. Karen, I worry about my son if I die. And PJ, when I was young, a friend and I discussed what was most important after we die, to be remembered for how we loved or the work or art we left as our legacy. Good to see it's an old thought. You can remember the conversation. Larry.
Yeah, Mary kind of hit on it for me. I was watching this documentary about Mary Tyler Moore,
Oh.
and she died. And I was really sad. But then I thought, yeah, but I'm still talking about her. Her story goes on, at
Ah,
least in my mind.
yes.
My story ends, just like Mary said. My story ends.
Yeah.
I thought, well, okay, what's so bad about that?
Yeah.
It is like the work. I'm so attached to my story,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
and I'm just, I don't know. It's like it's all in life for me, in a sense. My fear of death is the same thing I have about life. If I really, look at it,
Sure.
but I'm trying to hone in on what is that. I guess it's just the same fears I always have.
Yes.
I can work on them before I die. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Well, just noticing what is fear. It's very interesting. Like fear. I'm anticipating these things and I look at, missing people or not having done something or not having arrived someplace that I should have arrived, like just being a different person, even like Milda said. Jennifer says, I'm going to miss my children and my friends, and it's hard to bear that thought. Terribly painful to imagine never seeing them again, not experiencing and interacting and participating in their lives. I fear they will be burdened by my death. I fear I will hate and struggle with my body without peace for the rest of my life. Yeah, it's going to be this struggle. And then they're going to suffer too. Notice so painful, the images and fear that just arises. You feel it in your body. It's like just nervousness or grief. Okay. So clear that it's, there's something about it, like that from the opening quote. There's a moment, it feels like I am identified something. I like the stories. I want it to go that way. I don't want it to go that way. Okay. So let's just see what happens with questioning the thought. So if you weren't able to think this, death is coming, or believe it, let's say you think it, but you just don't identify with it, believe it, take it on. It's like just noticing all the unknowns. You see all those unknowns? Just, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know was the real. Who would you be without believing death is coming and I know what death is? Who would you be without the identity identified as a body or a specific person? A story that has to not ever die without identifying as that. I like the, also saying like, what if it was okay? Looks like in reality, there's comings and goings and comings and goings. And there's pleasant and unpleasant. And what if that was just okay? Lori says, taking care of my father for 7 weeks, surrounded by family, was one of the most beautiful, meaningful times of my life as he was dying. Karen says, who would I be? Related, happier. Related that's kind of a sweet word. Related. I'm related to these people, to life, connected. And Milda, free of fear, free of attachment to all those images of how I see death, present, more joyful, grateful. That's a wonderful way to put it. I don't know, I rather like that. Free of attachment to all those images. So we don't have to force the images out. Oh my God, don't think about that. Just watching them all come and go, and like watching a movie. Can't really pin any of them as true or false, or, it's just images. Karen, much more fluent between different kinds of consciousness. Wow. Mary.
I got sort of similarly, I would be free of this need for something to last. And I could feel the pressure of that need to be free of that. And then I also got, because I've had some glimpses of this, of seeing all the non-story beauty around me, which is kind of like living in the present. Like there's beauty without story. Something else happens without story. And so if I wasn't so attached to the story of me as like sort of the filter for all experience, something else comes through. And there's a lot of beauty.
Yeah.
So I sort of remembered a few moments of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Wonderful. It's like whatever, everybody's talking about being in the present moment, how great it is, right? Or how you should get there or something. But it's then what is that? What is that? That's what it sounds like when you're like, I'm just present here. I'm just here, aware without labeling it, this is good, that's bad, that's favorable, that's unfavorable. Just wow, the huge collection of what's here without putting meaning on it about how it's related to me. PJ says, more relaxed, more able to enjoy the present when I don't believe that thought. Allison, allowing. Judy, patient. Huh. Yeah. And Robin, I feel like I'd be unprepared and my future would be even worse. Okay, this is good. And second thought, I'd have more time for happiness. So I love the noticing sometimes, okay, let's say I don't have this thought, death is coming. Oh no, I need to keep the thought, even if it's stressful. That's crazy not to have the thought because why? I feel like I'd be unprepared. I need to prepare. I need to prepare. If I don't prepare, the future will be worse. So preparation equals, better future. Can you know that's true? Preparation equals better future. It'd be worse if it's worse if you don't prepare. True? I'm doing it with you. Because I feel like, if you're going on a trip, it's good to prepare. Get your, you pack your bags and you get all your stuff together and you buy the things you might need when you go there and get a ride to the airport. Just make all those arrangements.
Can I share?
Yeah.
It's there's some place where preparation or tending to my body and my feelings and my life and the needs is proactive and healthy,
Hmm.
and then it slips over into a place where it's fear and control of
Mm.
stuff that I can't control. And it's not healthy because it becomes a focus of my life and I lose the ability to enjoy my life. I don't know where the transition zone is between those two things.
Ah, beautiful. Well said. Well, sounds like you might know. Maybe it's a little like you kind of catches up with you, but you can feel it. You're like, this is I the stress tells you. It's like a little sensor in there going beep, beep, like the backup machines, and you kind of catch on. Would you say that's true?
Um, yeah, I think so. I think as I'm slowing down and working on spiritual stuff and connecting to people, less I have less fear and less attachment, and I have more awareness of where the expansiveness is.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, I'm not so limited. So yeah, I think you're right. I think that there's something in me that can feel this of when I'm in healthy self-care and when I'm off track.
Hmm. Kind of made me, I just got this image of um, when I was younger, I did gymnastics and you go down a balance beam, when you're learning, you just get on the balance beam and if you tip over too far, you're going to fall off. And you get more and more advanced with your tricks as things go on, or tricks, the moves you make. But then oh, I fell off. I tipped a little too far in that direction. It's like you know, but it's great that I've got all those things in place that is very caring for the self and organize best I can. And then let go. And then I just learn. What happens next? I get back on the beam and, okay. All right. Lori says, my so-called death is not my business. I'd be more in my business this second. Ah. I like how you said so-called, right? In the moment, right? I've never wanted the ball to come to me in PE, says Lori. Yesterday, rather than wishing the ball would go to my partner, a very arthritic old man who loves hitting the ball, I tried looking forward to the ball coming to me and playing with it, having a good time with the ball, being happy to see it coming, and how I can move my body in relation to it. It made a huge difference, and my enjoyment surprised me, even when I missed the ball. Loving versus dreading. This is great. At first, I was thinking that you were doing all metaphor, Lori. But now I'm thinking you actually mean you were playing with a ball. Was it a real ball? Here,
Yes, it was.
it was a real ball. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. It
That's
was
great.
this is years of dread. And yet it was shocking to me when I tried to get excited about it. It really made a difference to want the ball to look for yeah. And so it's
Wow.
kind of a metaphor. Yeah, it's a
Yes,
metaphor.
it's a metaphor too. You had a story that turned into a metaphor. It's great. which is what they are, right? That's lovely. Yeah. Me having the ball, like being the one who might be like I catch the ball on my way to death. Oh, my turn. My turn to
Mhm.
be moving into like dealing with the body or whatever. I didn't have to before, and now I do. And maybe I could have a good time with that ball. What a powerful idea.
And in my business.
Yes. Like just imagine that being happy to see it coming and how I can move my body in relation to it. And this is the turnaround.
Yeah.
We'll get there. It's good. Yeah.
Yeah. Just a side note, when my kids were discovering their hand as babies and as the body was developing, I was fascinated by the physical development and the mental development. And it'd be interesting to be as fascinated with the other side of it, the deterioration part, as the development part was fascinating to me. Can
Yeah.
the deterioration part be fascinating too? I don't know.
Yes. Oh, maybe we already are, but I get what you mean. Like fascinated and not horrified and fascinated, but like, ooh, where is this going? I want to see what's next. Great. Yes. Yeah. Larry.
Yesterday I had this huge, for me, a huge breakthrough that seems to apply here in our pain, sickness, death group.
Yes.
And the breakthrough was, and I think it applies to my thoughts about death, is if I don't have an answer to a question, it's because I don't need the answer right now.
Yeah.
Then I thought, if I'm not getting what I need right now, it's because I don't need it.
Amazing.
And that has had such an impact on me because now I'm thinking, so what am I thinking? Why even worry? You know, I don't need to know about death right now. I just don't.
Yeah. Sure.
Now,
Awesome.
I hope I never need to know, but certainly don't need to know right now.
Yeah.
And I'm sad about friends who have died, and I think about them, and
Yeah. Yeah.
but and Carol's possible death and my death, but right now, no,
Yeah.
I don't need it.
Great. Right. Sort of so simple in a way. It's very simple. Okay. So just being for a moment here, you know, we talked a little bit also in the pain, sickness, and death workshop. Somebody mentioned narrow view and then widening your view, just making a wide view of thinking of this moment. Just look around wherever you are. Notice your environment. You might hear some sounds. And the body is being animated by something. You don't even know what it is. Heart's beating, blood is pumping. Something's alive. Without a thought, without believing death is coming. Not about being in denial or pretending it isn't. Nothing like that. It's just noticing what's true right now. I like how Byron Katie asks you, are you okay? Somebody will be doing the work and So asking, are you okay in this moment? Even if you have like a serious ailment, as we say, serious. I just love noticing I can see and hear, and I mean, who knows? Anyway, just aware. So let's turn this around. Right, death is coming. I love seeing, just with a turnaround first, I guess, what's here right now. I have no idea what's coming. That coming of death is only in my thinking. How would you turn it around? Charlotte.
What came to me is transition is coming.
Ooh.
It's what I believe. I think there is something, like I think, people that have crossed over do live on, in some form, not the body, but in some form.
Even like, well, like what Lori said, there's molecule, like, the body turns into something, gets burned up or buried or whatever goes on, and then that turns into something, and yeah, worms. Yeah. Smoke. Yeah. And there's been transition, transformation, something new every single moment. Like every single moment. Of course, somebody said at the beginning, nothing's ever exactly repeated.
I've known people that have had like near-death experiences, and that's made me a believer that there's something else there, and that might not be true, but it's a good belief. I'm keeping it.
Yeah. You don't have to drop anything. No one's asking you to drop anything. It's all good. Yeah. And I like Karen says, life is coming. Life is coming. Larry.
My turnaround was death is always coming. It's never here.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
everything is always coming.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just not here, as
Yes.
far as I know. I mean, I could be dead right now. I don't,
Right.
butterfly dreaming I'm a man or a man dreaming I'm a butterfly. Which is it? So,
Yeah. Yeah. What is this consciousness? What's happening? And it's like, yeah, that's great. When something's coming, it's never here, is it? Not in the moment. Cindy.
I'm going to go with Charlotte. um, my father was really sick at one point and he had to have an operation. I said, Dad, how was it for you? He said, oh, I saw a white light. My father did not go with spirituality at all. That wasn't his bent. And I said, a white light? Of course I'm interested. He said, yeah. I said, Dad, do you know what that means? And he said, no, it was just a white light. And then another friend of mine's mother was in a hospital bed in her living room and definitely dying. And she popped up and said, I'm coming. And she mentioned her brother's name who had already previously died. So I'm kind of holding on to that in many ways. Like I don't know, not we, I don't know. But there's something seems to me to be more, and I'm really glad to be reminded of this. Because when I get really scared of dying, and I'm okay right now, knock on wood, I want to remember I don't know.
I don't know. I don't.
Yeah. And when it's over, is it really over?
And I sometimes think, even if it was over, I wouldn't be there to be bothered. So, there's no thing saying, oh my God, it's over. That whole thing's done.
Yeah.
Then it's still okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I like Milda says, death is not coming. My thinking about death is coming. Yes. Yeah. There's thoughts. And PJ said, as she was dying, my mother said, I can walk again. Wow. Isn't that something? Yeah, who knows what's going on? And Karen says, so interesting. My partner's sister has died recently. Life is going on. Life is coming all the time. Yeah. Milda, death is not coming. Oh, we said that already. My thinking about death is coming. Larry, that white light is the television set someone left on in the room. Ah.
When my father-in-law died, I got there first and I sat in his room for 45 minutes before other people came, and all of the nurses and everything were all just going on. And when my dad died safely, I was knocking at the door and came and delivered all these groceries while he was taking his last breath. So it was kind of very interesting, the juxtapose
Yeah.
of life continuing all around.
Yeah,
What's going on?
Yeah, very interesting, right? Huh. Hmm. I just really love, only in my thinking is death coming. And life is coming beautiful. Yeah. It seems sort of natural that there's to consider and be with this is just very heart expanding. Some might even say heartbreaking sometimes, but just allowing it to be the way it is and trusting. No control, not in charge. Nobody knows exactly what's going on here. Yvette says, because death is a concept? Kind of looks like it. I mean, we put a lot in about what it might be. Lots of speculation, or theories or ideas. And so, and nothing wrong with that, but yeah. I think, something about just letting it be as it is, and going back to Lori's wonderful a little metaphor there, story that was real about the ball. That just imagine, and it might sound a little absurd, but maybe not too. Just that part of the human condition is getting to catch the ball and maybe having a good time with the ball. Being happy to see it coming, she said, and how I can move my body in relation to it, or not move my body. Just feeling that relaxation somehow of letting it be the way it is. And it might not be all bad the way our minds often do have to survive. Is it true? All right. Beautiful inquiry, everyone. And I just want to read Katie's opening quote. I'll read part of that once again. And I just, yeah, in this time of Dia de los Muertos or whenever all these things come up, it's just, may peace be here for everyone in their minds, even if pain and sickness and death are visiting, are close. So Katie says, peace comes by invitation only, the invitation from yourself. And if that's your goal, welcome to inquiry. The great spiritual texts describe the what it means to be free. And the work is the how. It gives you a direct entrance into the awakened mind. Some people spend years trying to figure out what's the matter with them. When you come to the work, you don't have to figure it out. You already know what's the matter with you. You're believing your stressful thoughts. You don't even have to know which thoughts. You just pick the first one that occurs, and that's what's the matter with you. And when you question your thoughts, the thing that was the matter with you begins to show up as nothing. And I like to even add today, there's not even anything the matter with you if you have a thought. They just show up. That's human. All right. Thanks for being here, everybody. See some of
Thank
you.
you all.
All right. Lots of love, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much. Thank you for
Thank
your
you.
shares. Yeah.